Sorry. I just saw this. I took a screenshot of an ad where there's a little kid, a little girl, and they forced me to get the reaction to make me laugh. But this is not what I'm gonna make a video about. This is obviously I've made a lot of videos, and I'll probably make another video about what they forced me to experience when I see these babies. But the things they also try to do is vilify you. I'm not talking about what they manipulate you to experience, the false memories, but the actual you. And so, for me, the facade has been beyond destroyed. It is like, now it's just like agitating, like comical, like a bunch of clowns. Worse than before. If it was bad already, as soon as I found out about the testimonials on TI Day 2020, I was there saying this is killing men, women, and children. I knew what these people really do to people. I know the true harm they do to the most innocent and vulnerable. So for me, it was done at that point. I'll call them clown. I literally call it Clown City. For a clown like this bottom feeders were acting to try to present themselves as something that is not what it actually is. The facade was so destroyed, and it's getting more destroyed by the second. To the point where the way they think they're going to present and maintain this facade is, with you, we're going to torture you in the worst ways than the way we torture children and women. That's how bad it has gotten. That the way they feel like they can still present this facade is, okay, well, we're in this program that do torture women and children, but with you, we're going to exceed that. We're going to torture you more than the way we torture, like, and to me, I'm like, yes, okay. God give me strength for this horrible torture. I will pray for strength. Like I'm praying for strength right now. Like I'm thankful and pray for that too. But it's done. When they play the gimmick now, when they try to act this angry and just I'm pain now, I'm like I can't even see you. If I see you in person do that, I will react. Because I know this trash acting this way, all angry, is involved in this. Is involved in that. Target individual, we are no longer living within a reality of things. What I'm trying to say is, it seems this program tried to create an ecosystem where false reality is created. They want you to get lost in that. Now, for me, I'm gonna go through horrible things. I know that. That's not gonna be a facade. I will experience horrible tormenting, but that is done for a facade. It will be a theatric of torture. Because these people, as they tell me I'm exposed, they're just exposed by the reality of what this is about. They cannot, their life right now is to counter how they torture even babies. They are living life every day to say, how can we make it seem like we're not torturing children? I heard a child just yell and they just start stimulating me. It's the way they can manipulate me. But in reality, when they try to vilify me, when they don't bring up what they can manipulate me to experience, when they don't bring up the manipulation of my memories, because I'm not perfect, of course I have my imperfection. When they bring reality, real things, not the manipulations, not this memory manipulation, not this reaction toward these babies and all that, this is what they can do. That's the way they try to present me in regard of being a threat to children. But for example, they were bringing up, there was like, because not too long ago there was like this Puerto Rican parade, right? And I remember back in the days, in the late 2000, early 2010s, I remember watching that, and it used to be like, some things going on there at the time that was bad, right? And, I'm like a 20-year-old, I'm a 21-year-old. I'm not going to be like, oh, but I'm looking at this, women and thing, and I'm feeling some like stimulation, even though like those guys try to grab them and things like that. I'm like, okay, it has nothing to do with me. But they're like, oh, but you see how you're looking at, you see how you felt like this, you see, what? And they try to really just paint, like, how would this stupidity? To try to paint this story is just... And I'm like, I'm talking to people who literally are involved in a program. They are connected to what this woman is talking about. Not in the means that they are torturing them, but the reason why they're able to do that to me is because they're involved in a program where they're doing that to these women. They've chose to be involved. This is not something that is required by anybody. They can live a life where they don't do any of that. They don't have to partake in this. Nobody forced them to do this. They chose to be involved in this because there's opportunities and incentives in that. That's it. They got involved in a program where They know, and perhaps some of them have done it to women, and I'm sure some of them have. Some have not, but they know what they're involved in. They just try to normalize this. They feel like, oh, if I'm involved in a program where they are raping women, burning their genitals, it's okay, it's life. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sad, I feel bad. Oh, but why? We see how you're looking at this 2010 Perkin parade when they were grabbing the butts and this and that. I'm like, oh God. Well, they're involved in a program where they try to normalize how they're burning genitals. Now they're like, oh, but how was this person where they're grabbing the butts? I was like, well, I don't know. I don't what the what? And mind you, I'm like 20 years old, so I'm like, this person is most likely even older than me. Try to create these stories. It's crazy. So for me, I'm like, they really are doing everything possible to try to paint these storylines, and it's the stories they create. Now, and then they're like, no, but remember when at the nightclub you grabbed this person's butt and this and that. I was like, oh gosh. At one point, there's this thing where there's this girl dancing with two guys, right? And I'm thinking, okay, when she's done dancing with these two guys, maybe I can get a chance to dance with her too. But at the end, I realized that she's not into that. She just walked away from that. I'm like, okay. It's like, oh, you see, I was like, who's bringing up these things that even have nothing to do with me? And I'm talking, imagine having an interaction with people who are involved in a program that does atrocities, where they're even pushing women to kill themselves. They're torturing them to death. If I kill myself, it's because I'm in a program where they systematically push people to their suicide. Now, for me, I understand they are supposed to create these storylines. They want you to see yourself in this negative way. I know who I am. I know my imperfection. But I'm talking to people involved in these horrible things. I'm talking to people whose life consists of rearranging reality. They have no shame. And in my brain, they're having battles because they're like, oh, but remember this was this thing that happened in Perk Day Parade. Remember this girls, this and that. Like, this is not the girls that was on work, obviously not. These people have no shame. But creating the stories they want to. Now, the reality is what they're part of. Do you see the music that's blasting there? It's for one purpose. It's to disorient you from the reality of what these people are actually involved in. As they try to come up with how you felt when you saw these women being grabbed this way in the day parade, like in 2007 or 2008, whatever year. This is what they're involved in. And I'll always put that in their face every day, because I will never let this low life live their fantasy.
Highly perverted, involving many combinations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body, and of the people around me. This includes many different types of zaps to varying degrees to the genitals, butt, anus, and the entire pelvic area. This also includes many kinds of movements, such as the rocking, swaying, jolting, vibrating, and shaking of my entire body or various body parts, specifically in a sexual way. The severe vibration is a highly noxious stimuli and is very intolerable. They sometimes do pulses or throbbing sensations on the genitals too, etc. There are also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time.
You understand what they do? This is what this program does. Can you imagine them just like, but you felt like that when you saw that this day parade thing that was happening where they were like grabbing women and this. Some of these perps, I'm in New York, I'm sure some of the perps probably would have been there at the time. Well, me, I'm just watching this on this Warsaw Hip Hop, just looking at. So removed from here, so removed, like, not even. It's like, no, but you see that. How did you dare? I was like, come on, trash, you're involved in here, zapping genitals. You talk about me watching these women. Target individual, listen, I know my imperfection, I know who I am. I'm not perfect. But can you imagine people try to like bring up like, oh, but you felt this way when you saw this women this way, this, and they hear zapping genitals. Now they're like, oh, but when they were how old was? I'm not gonna let these people live their fantasy because I can't. And I know it's meant to push me into insanity, but these people have no shame. They have no shame. And I will not let these people go into like the fantasy. And in my brain, they try to make me try to look black. I was like, I'm not gonna. Talking to just stay strong. And this trash I still try to present. We are this group of feminists, femme fatale, educated, academic. This is what they're involved in. Her testimony is 2018. Right now there's a testimony of this woman who gets her genitals always harmed. Burnt and cut up in pieces. No shame. Tell my target individual, stay strong and see this low life where they are.